Hello, happy Tuesday. Welcome back to another episode of The Practice. This show is an unrehearsed, unedited look into my workflow. I'm Stuart. I'm a 3D artist, illustrator, graphic designer, animator, and your pal. And I'm excited, as always, to get into another episode this week. Big episode 50. You may notice a slight tweak, a slight improvement in production values. We're listening to a little intro track right now, which I'm fired up about. Big thanks to Zach for hooking it up and putting that together for me. You can check out more of his work in the link below. So big ups, thank you. Feeling good about the intro music, feeling good about slightly higher production values. Episode 50. It's been a little bit of a journey to get to this point, but I think we're definitely moving in the right direction. We're stronger and fiercer than we've ever been. We're developing good habits, and we're growing the community. We're making friends along the way, and hopefully encouraging you guys to develop a good practice and strong habits for yourself. As always, these episodes are best when folks are in the chat saying what's up, asking questions, sharing what they're working on. If you've got anything you're struggling with, anything that you're psyched about, you want to get more eyeballs on it, you just want to share with the community at large, hit me up with a link, and when there's a good stopping point in the show, we can fire that up and share with the community at large. So that being said, I think to celebrate the 50th episode this week, it makes sense to do sort of a typographic piece with the number 50 in it. And, I had so much fun and got such a positive response last week from doing that isometric scene that I might handle it sort of in the same way and integrate the 50, maybe like a building or like a large sort of structure into an overall landscape. So, thanks so much to everyone who's helped us get this far. We're like right at that. We're almost at that 800 subscriber mark. So I want to push further and get up there. Maybe break 1,000 in the next few weeks, and continue making awesome stuff. So that being said, let's dig in. Let's do this thing. We'll start this piece out like I start a lot of the pieces out. A little bit of a landscape as a ground. Simple one though. I'm going to try out a handful of typefaces here. I'm not sure exactly what I want to use just yet. Probably something condensed. Chat acting weird. There we go. Sorry if anyone dropped a comment. It looked like the chat was acting a bit weird, so. Hey, what's up, Candy? I'm glad you caught the music. Thank you. Check out Zach's work. He's really awesome. I'm glad to have an intro song for the practice. It makes sense. And hello, Joista. Hopefully, I'm pronouncing that right. How you guys doing this morning? Thanks for tuning in. So right now, I'm not sure if you caught the intro, but we're going to be celebrating the 50th episode with sort of a typographic landscape. And right now, I'm just sort of looking at different options in terms of fonts, typefaces. What do we got? I want something sort of condensed. But I'm not sure exactly which face I want to use yet. So we're in the discovery process. Discovery. Actually, Roboto condensed was a good option for sure. Possibly what we'll go with. Um, Knockout those pretty good, and then ultra condensed. Man, you can't get more condensed than some of these knockout faces. That's kind of nice. I love the way that 5 curves up at the top. Oh, cool. Thank you. Yeah, for some of these pieces, I know that like the practice is typically goes an hour and a half, 2 hours long, and I don't expect that everyone's going to sit through all that. So what I think I'm going to do is create some time lapse videos of the episodes. Maybe not all of them, but when a piece comes together well, I'll just throw a time lapse together so that people, if people want to watch a quick recap, they can watch sort of the whole creation process in a quicker time span. And then if there's a little detail they want to go back and see greater explanation of, they can check out the full episode. That might be our winner right there. Well, for now anyway, until I change my mind. So, yeah. Let's do this too. Um, Perhaps it makes sense to do square format on this one again. Kind of like last week. I think we did a square format image last week as well. I might also try. It makes sense to alter how we're doing this, right? So we'll have one of these letters sticking up. Another one pushed in, which case maybe we'll bool it out. We'll bool it out. Hmm. Maybe. That's cool. That's something I've thought about. What I like about the setup that I have now is, I don't need to line up guests. It's fairly simple and straightforward. I only need to rely on myself to get stuff done. Um, but that said, it would be really cool to do a collaborative episode at some point, or maybe do some screen sharing, or might even be cool to get together with some some other 3D artists and maybe just live stream their workflow as I chat with them. Um, there's a lot of options for sure. It's a good idea. Thanks for the feedback. Anyways, I'm open to a lot of ideas, and I want to keep growing this thing and um, getting new viewers and Collaborating with people for sure. I've got some collaborations coming up, just in terms of creating pieces of art, not necessarily video or like podcast collaborations, but game for all that for sure. Now lately, I've been like pretty obsessed with creating landscapes. I find them really satisfying. I think it's partly because it's sort of an intersection of my natural interests anyway. I love getting outside and hiking and doing that kind of thing. And this is sort of like a natural extension of that. Combine my love of computers with my love for the outdoors and create digital landscapes, right? Seems to make sense, at least in my head anyway. Well, it's not super clean. I'd probably take a different approach. Hmm. Hey Slabo, thanks for the nice comment the other day. So no, I haven't ever used World Machine. I know I've seen a lot of people make some cool stuff with it, and it seems like in terms of creating landscapes like this, it has more options than Cinema might. But I have not tried it. Weirdly, I kind of avoid plugins, at least too many of them. I like to really focus on more core image making principles like composition and color and lighting and things like that. And I try to not get too wrapped up in plugins and the technology itself. Now, is that always the best way to handle things? Perhaps not. And I'm sure there's ways that I could speed up or improve my workflow in certain ways by maybe utilizing more plugins. But as of now, I like to keep it fairly simple. I use the physical or the standard render that comes with Cinema 4D. I like to keep my scenes fairly simple and yeah, not focus on too many fancy plugins and things like that. Um, so there you have it. Do you have experience with World Machine? Another reason I think probably is because I tend not to make my scenes and particularly my landscapes like ultra realistic. I like to simplify a bit and have maybe a bit of a cartoon or a simplified abstract feel to it. Um, And World Machine tends to have a little bit more of a realistic feel. So, but perhaps I should explore it one day. It's not a free plugin, is it? Is it costly? What's the longest render you've done? Man, I don't know. Probably some sort of video at some point. I remember off the top of my head, but I know I've done several like multi-day renderings. The kind of thing where I set it up. Hopefully, it's the figure it's going to render overnight, and wake up the next morning, it's only like halfway done. Do that again the next day. You know what it was? Probably actually, come to think of it, is I've done some renderings for VR, like some cardboard experiments. And since that's 360-degree video, it needs to be like twice the size of normal HD footage. It's like 4K footage. Super, super long render times. And because I don't have any of the fancy plugins, again, something that could probably save me a little bit of time, I wind up just using baked reflection tags off of a sphere. And there's actually an episode of the practice where I go over that technique. I forget which number it is, but it's something about creating 360 landscapes for VR. And unfortunately, that technique does take a minute to render. It really does. So I know I've tried to do like animations using multiple frames baked off of a reflective sphere. That shit can take a long time. Yeah, $100. Okay, got it. Um, in the meantime, before you decide to invest in that, I'd say that some of the landscape options. If you really get in here and play with some of these options in the landscapes, you can come up with some really beautiful stuff just using the native Cinema 4D landscapes. Oops. Build in a little bit more variation. Whoa. All right. So let's mess with a little bit of lighting. Another thing I've been doing a lot lately, and I'm sure you guys have seen it if you've tuned into the videos before, but this physical sky is my jam, especially when we're creating landscapes. It just makes a ton of sense because it mimics outdoor lighting. We've got a globe that does fill lighting overall, and then we've got a sun, which is like your spotlight with your long shadows. Now what I like to do is go to time and location, just make it later in the day, because that's going to give us longer shadows. What's great, unlike the real sun and sky, I can just rotate it, get the shadows pointing in the direction that I want. That's weird. So moving that capsule just altered the zero. There we go. That's better. Let's see. Quality. Cool. So just threw on an ambient occlusion, which always really improves the look of the shadows. And a lot of times in the early going, when I'm trying to just establish the composition and figure out where I want to place elements, I'll just put everything into a single null and give it all one texture. Because, you know, sometimes objects have different coloration right out of the gate, depending on the type of object they are. So throw something in a cloner, all of a sudden it becomes white, and isn't that default gray material anymore. And, you know, if you're trying to dial something like a composition in, I think it's helpful to just get everything neutral and even, and that way we can really look at the compositional elements, and we can make decisions about color and texture later. I should play with height a little bit here too. Build some nice contrast between these two numbers. There we go. Yeah, the bool gets a little sort of fidgety and touchy there. It's definitely because we got these two things layered. I think, you know, what I should do is just duplicate this. We're only dealing with one fur. There we go. Cleans it up a lot. That's still not perfect. What are you doing? What are you doing to me? Oh, I know. There we go. That should be a little bit more stable. So, folks in the chat, what are you guys working on these days? Anything cool? tidy up this object manager just a bit. Landscape, landscape, landscape. Capsules and cones, capsules and cones. Wow, awesome. So a little bit of rounding is going to look great on these letters, I think. Give it a bit more detail. Make it look nice. I was expecting that additional bit of geometry to kind of break what was happening with these pools in the zero. But we lucked out. We lucked out. I think what might need to happen in the zero is maybe we fill it with water. Look at that. Maybe start introducing some sort of basic color now. I'm going to add some transparency and some effects to this water a bit later to make it feel a bit better. A bit more realistic. Oops. I just expanded a couple things, and I'm going to do a save as just in case. Lennon Craig, spam hearts, dude. Huh, can't load the video, meaning this video, Juista? Juatista? Can't pronounce your name, sorry. Which video can't you load? Is we having errors with this one? That sucks. Not on a big episode 50, oh no. What type of rule will we do? Yeah, open Safari. Everyone open Safari right now. So Len and Craig, how many people are watching on Periscope right now? What's the viewer count like? Let us know. Hook it up. Don't be scared. Two people. Better than no people. Hey Lennon, go call your whole family and tell them to log in. Call everyone you know. Take out an ad in your local newspaper. I mean, it's fine. Periscope doesn't really fuck with Cinema 4D like that. Maybe if I was a cute chick, I'd be popular on Periscope. Maybe. Maybe. Are you both of the people, Lennon? Whoops. Heart spam. There are a lot of artists I look up to. Man, there's just so many good artists, and especially in this day of social media and Instagram and all the images flying in my eyes constantly. Man, so who do I like? So non 3D digital artists like Aries is one of my favorites. He's probably one of the best contemporary artists there is around. Spanish muralist, incredible stuff. Um, who else? I really like. There's a local San Francisco artist called Ferris Plock who does these really funny characters. Gosh, who else in the non-digital? I'm thinking about non-digital artists. Oh, there's a guy called AJ Fossick who does these animal heads that are just ridiculously good. There's another group called Yeti and Friends. They make these really funny fuzzy outfits and taxidermied heads. Big influence. And then in terms of digital artwork, especially 3D artists, like I really like Julian Glander's dope. what's his name? Jack Sachs is a guy I've been paying attention to a lot recently. Orrin Haskins is ridiculously good. Who else have I been enjoying lately? El Gran Chamaco. I'm not even sure his real name. That's just what he goes by. Mexican 3D artist. Incredible stuff. Really quirky, fun characters. But yeah. So I'm sure I've forgotten like a lot of people, but yeah, there you have it. I'm gonna play with fog a little bit. Let's see where that gets us. So I'm just checking out the height of some of these lower elements. So these are at about 8. So that will help me positioning this. Turn the start height down. All right, see this. You know what? The end distance might be too high. Let's choke that in a little bit. Dante Rayner, what's up? Thanks for coming by. Yeah, Juatista, look those artists up. They're dope. Hey, Candy. Cool. All right, I'll check that out in a little bit here once we knock some renderings out. Remind me. All right, let's see what that gets us. Coffee. That's what I've got in this jug every week. Big thing of coffee. Well, that's why occasionally at about an hour or two in, I need to go run to the restroom while the shit's rendering. Oops. Yeah, I don't even know what that one does. I think it's similar to espresso, which I don't know how to use. Hmm. All right, excuse me one sec. All right, so some of these shadows. So some of these shadows are feeling a bit dark to me. So I'm gonna get in this sun and bump the intensity up a little bit. Ooh, in the sun and then in the sky as well. Fog, I'm gonna make a bit denser. I'm not seeing a ton of that actually. All right, and another one. Yeah, you see in between these already, you can see a lot more lightness. So that sun is gonna act like our fill light. Oh, sorry, the sky is gonna act like our fill light. The sun is gonna act like our spotlight. Just you and me, Lennon. Sounds great. So I do my live streaming through a online app called Restreamio, and it allows me to stream from my desktop to YouTube, Twitch, Periscope, and a couple others all at the same time. Handy dandy. All right, so that's rendering. Let's check out Candy's video. Candy has been an awesome repeat subscriber, or return visitor, subscriber, repeat visitor, all that good stuff. Let's see what we got. Whoops. Is that meant to be a slash, maybe? Oh, cool. Let's see what we got. Oh, the little train's going by. Nice. Is that your fancy little bridge down here? Let's watch it again. Hey, Candy, that's cool. There's like a little lake thing here. Little refineries, maybe. Blinking lights. Landscape. Very cool. Very cool. Nice work. All right. So I'm going to make some rocks. I think I've done this with y'all before. Fairly simple process. I just throw a cube in a Voronoi fracture. Offset the fragments just a hair. Go into this point generator and crank it up so we get slightly more detailed rocks, right? And then, let's see. There is a way to, let me do that after I expand it. That's what I do. Select all these, use color, automatic. Nope, off. That's gonna make it a little easier for us. So now we got all these kind of pointy bits, which work well as rocks. So add some jaggedy rocks to the landscape. Oops. Vernies and Lennon talking about vodka. Hello, hello, vodka. Prefer whiskey, but whatever. Fridges? That's weird. I love how Lennon is just keeping me posted on how many people are in the Periscope stream. Thank you, sir. Just keep throwing them hearts in there too, and hit subscribe, and we'll all be best friends forever. So just went in and added a little bit of noise and texture to these hills, and I think that really adds a lot. Do the same with this grass, except make it really green. What happens there? Right. I'm gonna start working on this little watery effect. All right, so that's going to definitely add to our render times, but it should look awesome. And I want to make sure ambient occlusion has evaluate transparency turn on. And I'm going to go ahead and throw it over into physical renderer because I think that's going to give us better lighting and a little bit of a nicer water effect. Oh, you do? You have a 2011 MacBook Pro running Mac OS X Sierra. Fascinating. What kind of mouse do you use, Lennon Craig? Look at this, I built a little hobbit hole. Little hideaway. That's for Lennon to live in, right there. You and your 2011 Mac and your Amazon Basics wired mouse can live in there. It's for you, buddy. Hmm. Don't remember expanding that. That is okay. Thanks, Lennon. It could be a pool. Maybe it is a pool. Or a circular lake for boats to ride around in, like a lap. All right, let's try out some GI. Going to give us much nicer rendering. It's going to take a little bit longer time. So just before we really get close to knocking out our final and heading over to retouch, let's check out what this GI is going to do for us. Yeah, well, we see right off the bat we lose a lot of that blue, a lot of that bluish color in the shadows. Which we can add a little bit more back in and retouch, but I think the blue is actually slightly heavy. What we've got going on. I'm really liking what this GI is doing for us at this point. Much more realistic light bounce. What I think I might even do is make the gamma a little stronger. It's just a little bit more distance on each of the light bounces. I just went in and added a little bit of blue to the shadows. You see that gamma gives us just a little bit more distance in our light bounce. So the shadows are a little bit less intense, a little bit more lighting in the shadows, which is actually good because that allows us to see a little bit more of the detail on these edges here. Yeah. I want to try a couple more variations. What I'm worried about here is actually the fact that the 5 seems so much more prominent than the 0. The 0 is the same color as the landscape, so it sort of blends in a little bit. So I'm going to try two things. First of which, I'm going to be making inside edges of the 0 same color as the 5. Let's see what that gets us. And the other option is to make the 5 the same color as the landscape. So that integrates a little bit more. So let's see what that gets us. I don't like that as much. I did really like that, it looks like there was dirt being revealed underneath the surface. Yeah, that one I'm going to say no bueno. Spanish, please. Hey, Audio Creative. Oh. How you doing? Thanks for tuning in. I'm wondering, are you asking for Espanol? Sorry, no comprende. Hmm. To be honest, I'm not loving either. I think I like the white better for the text. Maybe what I need to do then is make the water really light so it kind of pops more. Gives us a closer value range to what we're seeing with the 5. Let's try that again. If that works, what we're going to do is knock out a larger version, do a quick Photoshop retouch, and we'll be off to the races. Lennon Craig, very opinionated. I think this might be the key. This might be the trick here. We can see even in the shadows, we're already getting a bit brighter. All right, I'm happy with that. So, make it a little larger. Do 1600. And no, 1800. Bam. All right, we're off to the races. While that's rocking, I'm going to fire up Photoshop. We'll do a little color correction and make it happen. Hey, Source, what's up, man? Yeah, I may or may not do a speed art of this one. And as I was saying earlier in the episode, I'm probably going to start doing that a little bit more frequently because I know not everyone can tune into the 2 hour, proper episode. So it might make sense to just knock a quick speed art of those out. That way, people who didn't get a chance to watch the full 2 hour stream can check out a abbreviated, quicker version of it. Makes a lot of sense. So yeah, sure. Maybe there will be a speed art later. It'd be fun to share. And check out the replay though, or maybe tune in early next week because we just introduced for episode 50, which that half century felt like a little bit of a prominent milestone. So we added some intro music, and I'm really pleased with how it came out. Really interesting, really talented musician and producer out of Austin, Texas, I believe, named Zach, helped me put it together. His information is linked below, and the show's feeling a little bit more legit now that we've got like proper intro music. So I'm pretty psyched about that. I felt, the piece that he put together, I thought really, it felt like it matched the vibe of my work and of the show. It's positive, it's upbeat, it's digital, it sounds cool. So hope y'all like it. I'm noticing a little bit of weirdness in here, and I think that's what they call Z fighting, where we've got the two bools are like overlapping on each other, and it's fighting to put one material in above the other, since they're like occupying the same exact place in the model. But that's a fairly simple retouch in Photoshop. We do have a couple of wonky shadows in some of these areas here, which I think I can smooth out a bit. I think we're going to bump up the saturation and some of the contrast and that good stuff. So what do you guys think? The 5 is very prominent and easy to read. Do you think the 0, does it read like a 50? Let's zoom way out and see. I think it does. The 0 is a little bit harder to read, but I'm okay with that. So let's save this as a ping. Wow, episode 50. Cool. There we are. Bam. Cool. So start by taking some of this out. I'm just going to make a selection here so that I'm not going over parts that I want to keep as is. Using the stamp tool here because I do want to maintain some of the noisy texture, right? That's better. I went in here in this channel, in this cyan channel, really bumped up the saturation and the lightness on that 0 just to make it read a bit better. That works. Cool. Thanks, Source. Gallo Alvaro, hello. New viewer. How's it going? Thanks for tuning in. Source is giving props to Candy. Love that. That honestly, to me, is one of the best parts about doing this show is seeing how some of the routine viewers are sort of getting to know each other a little bit and sharing their work, and it's really cool. It's really rewarding to form this little community around something I just really love doing. So thanks to everyone, and I couldn't have made it to episode 50 without all you guys. It's awesome. We're making progress. We're continuing to put out good work. Hopefully, you all are developing a good creative practice, developing healthy habits. There's a few little wonky shadows throughout here that I'm going to sort of touch up a bit. I noticed these and could have fixed them with maybe a subdivision surface out of the rendering, but by the time I noticed them, we're pretty well along in the rendering, and I figured they'd be fairly simple to just retouch after the fact. So here we are. Here we are retouching after the fact. There. Too much noise. All right, y'all. I think this is getting pretty close to being a final piece. I'm excited and honored and a little bit surprised, I guess, to a certain extent, that I was able to make it to episode 50. This episode was sort of a long time coming, but just really the beginning to a lot of better things. We're going to keep trying to grow and continue and honing our skills and sharing more and more, and it's going to be awesome to do it with a group of folks who like can't talk today, tuning in and turning up and ready to make their own cool stuff along the way, and as I said, developing healthy practices. So as always, it's been super fun, and I want to thank everyone who tuned in. If you liked what you saw, if you think it was worthwhile, hit like, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell, share it with a pal. I'm all over the place posting work pretty much every day, especially on Instagram and Twitter, so follow me at DLGNCE to check out more and keep up with what I'm working on. So until next time, we'll see you next week at 9 Pacific, 12 Eastern. Stuart saying goodbye. Thanks for 50 episodes and hundreds more to come, I hope. So thanks a lot. See you next week. Peace.